everyone, my name is Jaybird and welcome back to Lake of Voices. Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Happy New Year! So I finally managed to, look up a guide for this game. So I'm gonna be starting a new game today and doing it actual proper playthrough this time with the guide, because that's what I was telling myself to do, and I will do it. Alright? Alright. Yeah, okay. I think I could just skip all this. Yeah, I'm gonna skip all this. You're quite informed, Margaret.
It's been years since the time of Garvin the Exemplar. It's impressive you knew.
Margaret smiles, lifting her chin into the air. The over-exaggerated action is somehow pleasant rather than belittling. She's so much happier than I had anticipated.
Yes, I do like to stay informed. And you knew too. Good. This lake shouldn't be allowed to swallow even history itself.
My town, the one where I was born at least, was also Garvin's hometown. I was very young when he passed. The entire village went into mourning. People broke down crying in the streets. I'll never forget it. He meant much to everyone who knew him.
Oh, I have no such connections. I merely read about it.
She pauses, seeming to scan the air in front of her for something to say.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
It's all right. Thank you.
My town may have taken pride in Garvin the Exemplar and what he achieved, but we weren't the ones who lost the most. That would be his family. We each remained locked inside our own thoughts, not another word passing between us. I believe we should go.
And I believe you.
Thank you. I admire her resilience. It's comforting to know. Not seriously. Aw. But I love Bemele. Bemele's face hardens in return. I don't notice how tense I am until Bemele eases my grasp on his arm. Shh. Pull Bemele forward. I shift around. Kick it off. Kick it off.
So you're staying behind?
And so for the next one, the next choice, we have to wait for the timer to go out. I keep straight ahead, not making an attempt to go to the correct direction. Bemele seems to fumble slightly, but stays close behind me. In the light, I inwardly apologize. I come upon Margaret, who nearly runs into me in her efforts to turn around. Her face twists at the sight.
Why are you...
I ignore her and move to face the other way. The path we came from is disappearing into the water. It's sinking.
We have to jump!
What?
Margaret holds up her hands, but I grab her and spin her towards the path the guide is on.
Go! We'll catch up!
But...
Bemele and I will have to jump together. He needs the light. Just move!
I practically shove her, and without further hesitation, she takes a leap. She makes it just past the edge of the bridge, knees buckling as she lands, but is soon back up on her feet and holding her lantern out towards me. She beams with pride. Encourage her to keep going. Alright. I smile back and motion Margaret towards the guide. She understands the gesture, though hesitates, obvious conflict in her eyes. However, she nods and runs after him.
Here.
I offer Bemele my hand, tightening my grip on my lantern. Bemele accepts the offer, giving it a brief squeeze. A tight smile plasters itself across my face as I try to calculate the distance between our bridge and the other. Then the ground starts to shake more.
Jump!
We dash to the bridge's edge and leap. Cold air rushes past my face, winding its fingers into my hair. For an instant, I think I see something moving under the surface of the water. Then we land hard on the wooden bridge. Bemele lets out a sigh of relief as we both creakily get fully back on our feet.
Stay close. We need to run.
I'll be right behind you.
Right. I take off, not bothering to ensure Bemele is staying true to his word. I know he'll follow. The guide's fading light bounces in the distance, a clear signal that he's still running. I focus everything I have on catching up. Slowly we begin to close the distance. As the night wears on, our strength rapidly fades. Even my stamina is being challenged. I can't imagine what this must be like for Margaret. She's holding her side as she runs, clearly cramping from the exercise. How much longer will this last? People have to rest sometime. Alright. Oh. Can we? Wait. No, we can't just leave him here. We've managed to find enough already. And these creatures will... Do you like my Bemele voice? These creatures will probably pluck him away as soon as we've gone. Without light, it's certain he'll die.
He won't make it regardless.
I glance at the others. Bemele is outraged, but Margaret is staring at the man with something like fear. She's uneasy, but she doesn't voice her concerns. Margaret, Bemele, and I frantically share more looks between each other, trying to communicate without words. Now, none of us have a desire to speak and be the first to make a choice. The man is standing now. You were curled up in a ball when we met.
Exactly. Something must be wrong with you.
Oof.
Oh no. Sounds like you've been talking with my father.
Oh no. It could be if he's trying to get to the side we came from.
He must have come quite a ways if it was the other shore that he started on.
The man's smile grows. Bemele looks at Margaret. She avoids his gaze.
Perhaps I could have let him share my light before, but the guide has said the one with him has to remain behind, and I simply wouldn't be able to manage it.
Margaret might not be able to take him, but there's another way this could be solved. I could stay back with him. It'll put Bemele and myself at significantly more risk, but at least this man will stand a chance. Put a hand out to stop him. I straighten my arm out like a rod. Okay. Blocking his progress past me, he stops perplexed.
I am not afraid to stay behind, as long as Bemele can remain up front with you in your light.
The guy doesn't say anything, doesn't even blink. Margaret covers her mouth with her hand, muffling some sort of gasp. Bemele smiles sadly at me.
One can always count on you, Kika.
Yep. I'm the best. The man, meanwhile, stands with his mouth agape, truly and genuinely shocked.
Well, what will it be?
Margaret sputters for a second, searching for words, but clearly unaware of what to say. Bemele chimes in before she can get anything audible out.
I can stay in between you and the guide. I don't need to be right next to either of you. That way you won't have to worry about a repeat of what happened earlier.
I wouldn't refuse you being here.
The guide doesn't acknowledge them. He stares at the stranger. The man shakes under the attention.
No, really. I could just go on my own. It's fine.
I step closer to him, lending the support he seems to desperately need.
You do not need to go this alone. I will protect you.
The man stares at me. I return his gaze, willing him to see my certainty. There need there need be no blood spilled tonight. Slowly the fear melts off of his face, replaced with something like resignation. Then he drops his gaze to the floor.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I grasp his shoulder and turn to the rest of the group.
You should get a head start, correct? You'll have to put some distance between us.
No! No, we don't have to do that!
Yes, we do.
The guide. Yes, we do! Unnervingly, there's a hint of an emotion in the guide's usually empty voice. Anger. He starts to walk, not waiting for a reply. Margaret grits her teeth, eyes filling with tears, face flushed. She mumbles something in a small voice, something I'm just not near enough to hear.
Why am I always so powerless?
I don't know. The statement catches me somewhat off guard. Margaret, powerless? She's not a mercenary, to be sure, but she seems so certain of herself. Then again, I don't know the reason she needs to cross this lake. Before I can decide whether I should respond, the tears fade from her eyes. Margaret takes a deep breath.
Please be careful.
Of course. She takes a few steps back, lingering near enough for Bemele. Bemele smiles, first at the stranger, and then at me.
Take care back here, all right? We'll all be together again when we reach the halfway island. It won't be too much longer now. We'll have a nice little camp out, and you can properly introduce yourself to us. Maybe even tell a real joke or two.
Haha. The man emits a nervous little laugh. That's what I just did, and ducks his head. The prospect must not be enticing to him. With the stranger having pulled himself out of the conversation, Bemele looks seriously at me.
I'm sorry to put you in even more.
Stop.
Get some help. And Bemele shakes his head, still smiling.
I don't begrudge you at all. In fact, I'm glad you did. All I want is for you to remember that goal. Each of us, together, on the island, and then on the other shore, safe. This isn't about what our job is, or where other people need us to be.
I nod in response. Bemele opens his mouth, then closes it. He swallows hard.
You two.
I'm surprised to hear his voice wavering slightly. He swallows again, then continues.
You two should look out for each other.
Okay. I love you, Bemele. Love you, boo. He takes a few steps back as if to go, but his eyes don't leave mine. Margaret watches Bemele approaching her, gaze flickering from him to me. Then suddenly she rushes back my way. Margaret flings herself into me, wrapping me up into a hug as crushing as her small, shivering frame can muster.
Thank you for not leaving me behind either.
You're welcome. Then she pulls away, turning around without seeing my reaction. The scent of lavender hangs in the air, though I can't tell whether from her hair or her clothes.
Watch out for yourself, too. Not just for everyone else.
Totally.
I will.
The guide's figure disappears, with only his lantern to lead the way. Bemele and Margaret are finally forced to leave us behind and catch up with him. I watch them disappear into the fog, an odd feeling in the pit of my stomach. I cannot recall the last time I had difficulty seeing someone leave.
You should go after them.
Duh. I almost forgot the man was there, standing right next to me. Now he looks at me with desperate eyes.
You don't need to do this.
Whatever.
What?
I'd rather know you returned to them safe, and that you all had a chance to make it back together, the way they acted. Having to go on without you, no one would feel that way for me. I'm not worth it.
No.
That's not...
I stop, unable to say the last word. Can I claim that he's wrong? This is the one thing he has seemed sure of, and I do not know him. Empty platitudes may be worse than nothing at all. He smirks at my mumbling reply. I'm caught off guard by the change. With only then, it seems he's in his element.
It's true.
He continues to grin, more so to himself than me.
You lot certainly made a scene, huh? That's nice. Being loved and all.
Dude, do you want pity points or something? He clarifies after I must have given an undesired reaction to the statement. I am so disconnected with myself, I am unsure if my surprise appeared on my face or if it was a lack of emotion that put him off.
I don't know exactly what kind of love it is you share, but there has to be a bond in that group of yours.
Sure.
I mean, especially with the long-haired one. You wouldn't look at anyone like that.
The long-haired one? Which one is the long-haired one? They all have long hair! The guide, Margaret, and Bemele all have long hair! They all have long hair! What the fuck? That is so vague! I don't know which one you're talking about. He laughs and then speaks quietly.
It doesn't matter. I can still try for the other shore. Go.
I will stay. My certainty shocks him. I can tell immediately he has returned to his meeker self. The man starts to speak again, but I interrupt.
We should start walking. That should be enough of a head start for them.
He hesitates a moment, but ultimately begins walking at my side. I'm relieved. I can never be quite sure what will come from this one. This one! We move in silence. The man doesn't seem to want to speak anymore, but he keeps glancing at me, as if expecting something. Somehow his odd behavior is comforting rather than disconcerting. Perhaps it's because he's more nervous about all this than I am. It's putting me at ease, making me feel more comfortable. More capable. I shouldn't allow myself to get comfortable, however. Which I fucking said. We're in a more dangerous position than ever. The whispering from the lake, so faint after Bemele's close call, now surges forth. It grows nigh unbearable, the creatures teeming below the surface. I dare not speculate on what has them so excited.
Have you a name?
The man chuckles dryly.
Barely.
Barely.
I don't really know what I am to take from that.
Yeah, what do you want me to take from that? This time his laugh is more of a bark, quickly out and swelled back up. Then he frowns.
Lou. Only 2 letters. So barely.
Lou.
I see. What are you doing out here without the guide?
Perhaps the question is inappropriate to ask. After all, only the darkest of circumstances spurs someone to cross Sinlos. But the situation is very strange. I might even go so far as to say it's suspicious. I know that's not fair, but I can't help it. Years spent anticipating danger have made me wary.
That's a good question. I'm not sure I know myself.
What does that mean? Is that some sort of joke too? Or do you genuinely not remember how you arrived where you are?
No, it wasn't a joke. Or, well, there is a point to it all.
Then his voice, already by nature light and airy, drops to a whisper.
But I don't know why I even tried. You'd think that I'd be able to call a spade already, right?
He looks up, noticing my gaze still leveled at him. Then he shrugs.
I'd rather not talk about it.
Okay. As what has become the norm, I don't fully understand what he means, but I can at least guess that he's not very happy with himself at present, and like it or not, he won't be sharing his real reasons with me.
What about you? What brings you out on this little adventure?
People. On the other side. People who need my help.
You have someone waiting on you? Then why are you risking yourself on me instead of worrying about what's going to happen to them?
I feel my brows furrow from my speck of alarm. Is that really what he took from this? I survey his face with a flick of my eyes, but there's no mischievous gleam to his look now. He's serious. We hold eye contact for a moment until he yet again stares down at the ground.
Sorry. I didn't mean to be disrespectful. It just fell out somehow. I wasn't thinking.
You're important as well. I'm supposed to save right here, so... Wild trails.
Of course I'm going to be there for those counting on me. But you aren't nothing. I won't simply turn my back on you.
Okay, what's the history in that? No. Go down. What? Oh. What to scroll with the... Just let me pull down the thing. There we go. He shoots it. His stare shoots back up at me. He's wide. There we go. That's what I didn't read. He smells sadly, the kind of smell only someone who has experienced great hardship has. A smell I'm all too familiar with.
I probably have to disagree. Still, that's nice of you to say.
We may not know each other well, but you wanted us to go on without you for our own safety. You even tried to have a sense of humor about it. That counts for something.
My statement is far from grand, yet he becomes distinctly bashful all of a sudden, twitching his legs with each step. He hangs his head and mumbles his next phrase. Sadly, he seems unaccustomed to receiving praise. I have to save. I need to save. I need to save before the next choice.
That's true. Thank you for staying back with me. It's kind of nice.
You're welcome.
No need to thank me.
Oh, right. I can't even show gratitude correctly. Of course.
I go to give him a look, but he's smiling. He looks less pitiful than usual. He almost seems content. While crossing Zinlos? How? Why?
It is not funny to make a joke out of thinking that way about yourself.
If you don't want people to say things like that, then you shouldn't reject their thanks. Either I did right by thanking you, or I did wrong.
Fine. You're welcome.
This time he lets out a real laugh, though a short one.
I'm glad.
He stretches his arm out in front of him and elongates his stride so he's walking a bit ahead of me. It's what's wrong with me. He's relaxed and completely unguarded. He's even fine with distancing himself from the light and all the odd comments he has said so far. Then a thought strikes me. Maybe the reason he's so calm is that he doesn't care what happens to him. My heart plummets into my gut. For a time, there's relative peace in the silence between us. Then Lou sighs heavily. Oh, okay, well, guys. I know it's a weird place to leave off at, but you know what? Whatever. I'm gonna leave this episode off here. So if you guys enjoyed this episode of Lake of Voices and you would like to see more of this game, then leave a like down below, leave a comment down below, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't, ring that notification bell, and remember, die safely. Bye-bye!